Last season was a feel-good story for the Knicks, thanks to Tom Thibodeau, the emergence of Julius Randle, and a stingy Knicks defense that ranked top 5 in the NBA. The Knicks not only made the playoffs for the first time in 7 seasons, but finished as the 4th seed. When you have a season like this, you have expectations to remain good, and Leon Rose tried to build off last year's success with the additions of Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier. They made sense at the time, because despite the Knicks having a great defense, their offense was underwhelming, largely thanks to their lack of offensive production in the backcourt. Elfrid Payton may have been the worst starting point guard in the league last year, and Bullock is too one-dimensional on offense. This was clear in last year's playoffs when the Hawks hid Trae Young by putting him on the offensively limited Bullock. An embarrassing series defeat by the Hawks in just 5 games made it clear that the Knicks needed some new blood. But so far, Leon Rose's offseason pickups have been complete misses. Let's start off with Fournier. So far, his 4 years, $73 million contract is looking like a bad investment. He was supposed to bring improved shooting and increased shot creation, but instead, he's brought inconsistent offense for this New York Knicks team. His 13 points per game is his lowest scoring average since his 3rd year in the league, and his 42% field goal percentage is tied for a career low for him. But the biggest off-season decision the Knicks made was to give Julius Randle a 4-year extension worth $117 million. At the time, it looked like a good deal as he was coming off a monster year where he made his first All-Star team. But this season, he's fallen off a cliff. If we want to see why the Knicks are off to such a mediocre start, we have to look at Julius Randle's drop-off this season. Randle is averaging 19 points per game, but on just 41% shooting. The reason for the low field goal percentage is because the same shots that Randle made a living off last year aren't hitting this year. Last season, after training with Carmelo over the summer, Randle became a mid-range assassin. Step-back jumpers, fadeaways, and mid-range pull-ups became a huge part of his arsenal, and he hit them at a high percentage. Last season, Randle shot an efficient 45% on shots from 15 to 19 feet. Randle's mid-range game really helped him to emerge as an all-star player. But this season, those same contested mid-range shots just simply haven't fallen at a high percentage. On the season, Randle is shooting just 39% from 15 to 19 feet out. He's taking the same mid-range pull-ups he did last year, but this year they aren't knocking down. Another problem with Randle is the decline of his three-point shot. Last season, Randle was a great three-point shooter, hitting 41% from 3 on 5 attempts per game. This season, he's only hitting 31% on his threes, and most of these looks are wide open. What happened to Julius Randle's jump shot? It's hard to be 100% sure, but it could be that the NBA switched from the Spalding ball to the Wilson ball. Some players have said that the Wilson ball doesn't have the same touch and softness, and this makes sense as shooting percentages are down league-wide, and several other star players are also struggling with their jump shots. So the new ball could definitely be a factor, but Randle's shot selection is also a problem. Despite the fact that these shots aren't hitting at a high percentage, Randle continues to take these tough contested mid-range pull-ups. But Randle could be a lot more efficient if he would simply attack the basket more instead of settling for mid-range pull-ups. Randle is shooting 60% within 5 feet of the basket, which is a good percentage. He's an extremely strong player, so when he really wants to, he can bulldoze his way to the rim and finish well. Randle needs to start attacking the basket more, and that would not only lead to higher percentage shots, but they would also lead to more opportunities for him to set up his teammates for easy baskets. Julius Randle needs to improve his shot selection and decision making in order to play better for the Knicks. And you combine the decline in production from Randle with the inconsistent offensive production of both Kemba and Evan Fournier, and it's no wonder why the Knicks offense has underachieved this year. The Knicks ranked 22nd in offensive efficiency last year, and this year they're still one of the worst offensive teams in the league, ranking 24th. The purpose of the additions of Kemba and Evan was to improve the offense, but instead it's gotten even worse. And along with being underwhelming on offense, the starting lineup has also been bad on defense, with Kemba and Evan being the main culprits. In fact, the Knicks starting lineup has the worst point differential in the league, with how inconsistent they are on offense and how consistently bad they are on defense. It's no wonder why. The biggest saving grace from the Knicks this season has been their second unit. The defense and energy of guys like Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickley and the now emerging Quentin Grimes consistently pulls the Knicks out of holes that the starters put them in. It's been a consistent pattern this year for the Knicks that the starters put them in a hole, the bench leads a comeback just for the starters to close the game and lose anyway. At this point of the year, Thibodeau needs to seriously consider a lineup change. The Knicks starting lineup has not worked at all. Thibodeau already tried benching Kemba and starting Alec Burks in his place, and that strategy didn't work. If I were head coach of the Knicks, I would start Quentin Grimes at the 2 and have Evan Fournier come off the bench as a 6-man. A huge part of the Knicks' problem is that they have 2 terrible defenders in the starting backcourt. Quentin Grimes is a good defender, and he's a good 3-point shooter as he's currently knocking down 40% of his threes. Starting Grimes could allow the Knicks to better hide Kemba on D. Evan could possibly be more consistent playing with the second unit, and his defense could be a lot more hidden playing next to more defensive-minded players like Emmanuel Quickley, Alec Burks, and Nerlens Noel. Another big saving grace for the Knicks has been the play of RJ Barrett. Over the last 15 games, he's averaging 23 points per game and he's shooting 45% from the field and 40% from 3. RJ is getting downhill more and he's finishing well, and his outside shots are finally starting to knock down at a high clip. With the way he's playing at just 21 years old, RJ looks like he could potentially be the Knicks' franchise centerpiece. But even with his high level of play, the Knicks need to make some serious changes if they want to still make the playoffs. The Knicks have the second most difficult schedule left in the league according to Tankathon, so if Thibodeau can't figure out the correct changes to fix this team, the Knicks may find themselves once again in the draft lottery praying for the number 1 pick. But anyway guys, that's going to be it for me. Do you think the Knicks will make the playoffs? Tell me in the comments. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and check out some of my other Knicks content. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.